Hello ladies, and welcome back to Still Looking Good 58, the channel that reviews wigs for the mature woman. A little nervous today because today is the Q&A day, and today is the day that I answer your questions. Now, not everybody sent a lot of questions, but I got enough of them. So I've got 10 questions here that I'm going to answer to the best of my ability. Some things I'm not going to give a whole lot of detail on, but yeah. So I kind of wanted to do this Q&A because I know a lot of people do these, and some people really like these, and they kind of want to know the person in front of the camera, and I get that. So here we go. Question number 1, what is your real name? My real name is Faith, F-A-I-T-H, like religion, Faith, yeah. You don't need to know my last name. I mean, some of you already do, but yeah, my name is Faith. I say Still Looking Good 58 because that's my channel, and that's what I want to be known for, is the name of my channel. Okay, question number 2. This is not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Okay, where were you a reporter? I was a reporter in a couple of mid-market stations, and what that means is that they have like this thing called a, oh man, I forgot even what it was called, but it's a report that tells you all the markets. I think it's called ADI. Anyway, there's a report that tells you all the markets from the #1 market, which is New York City, to the, I don't know, however many they have now, 350th market or whatever. So there's a list of the top markets based on population and viewership probably. I was kind of in the middle. I wasn't like in the smallest markets, but I certainly wasn't in New York. I did end up in DC for a while, which I think DC was market 45 the last time I looked. Nah, it might be even bigger than that. It's been a long time since I looked at markets, but anyway, I ended up in the middle. I was in a middle market station, several middle market stations, and I was a general assignment reporter. That's somebody who goes around and just does whatever stories are available at the time. Then I specialized. I moved into medical, so I did a little medical reporting. Then I did some education reporting. So I kind of moved around to different, I did some crime courts stuff as well. So yeah, but I was in middle market, so it wasn't a big station. I mean, it wasn't a big market like New York, but it wasn't really, really little either. Okay. Oh, another reporter question. What was the best and worst report you ever did? Wow, the best and worst report I ever did. I don't know if I'd call it the worst report, but it was probably the scariest one. I interviewed a man who, I don't know, we were going around, and let me just explain that sometimes when reporters first start in the business, they are, they're doing like all kinds of stories, so they don't really have a specialty all the time. And in the beginning, I didn't have a specialty. And so I was what they call GA, which is a general assignment reporter. And so I was out with a photographer, and we were shooting weather. And what that means is when you're shooting weather, you're just taking beauty shots for the weather guy, so that when you come in with a video, he can put like a backdrop of like flowers or something in his weather reports. So we were shooting weather, and there was a call. We got a call about a murder. I guess a woman had gotten killed at a convenience store. And so we go over to the convenience store to see what's going on, and it was kind of gory. There was blood coming out of the building. Evidently the person dragged her out of the store and into the woods or whatever. So, and a lot of times you have to understand, a lot of times as a reporter, you're the first one to get there. And sometimes you get there before the police get there. So in this instance, I think we had gotten there not long after the police had gotten there, whatever. So anyway, so this guy comes up, or at least we find out that this guy that comes up is the woman's husband, So we're like, oh my goodness, you know, we need to interview the woman's husband so we can, like, you know, get him to say whatever he wants to say on camera about what happened or whatever. And I know you probably think that's awful, but you know, we did that as reporters. And so he was willing to talk to us. I mean, whenever somebody says they don't want to talk to me, I would always say, okay, you know, I wasn't, you know, I'm not gonna like go back to the station and say, hey, you know, I just didn't want to talk to this guy. If they don't want to talk, then they don't want to talk. But anyway, this guy, who was the husband of the woman, he was willing to interview. So we had what we call a live shot. at noon. So at lunch hour, there's a news show that comes on, and so we were live at noon, and so we were at the top of the show, and what that means is you're the first story. So he says, you know, I start to interview him and ask him, you know, some questions, just basic stuff like, you know, when did you find out, blah, blah, blah. And then I asked him, is there anything else that he wanted to say, you know, to the person or people who did this or whatever. So he starts really crying. I mean, crying, and I'm feeling really bad. I'm like, oh my goodness, this man is just crying. He's crying on camera. And then, you know, I end the interview, and you know, they tell us we're clear, meaning that we're not live anymore. And so after they said that, after they cleared us, and I took the mic, you know, away, he stopped crying. So I'm thinking, okay, you know, it seemed just kind of odd to me because he kind of turned it off and turned it on, you know, that kind of thing. So at first I didn't think anything about it, but another news crew came along, and a lot of times when you cover stories as a reporter, you're not going to be the first station there. There's going to be other stations that come. And so the other, what we call the competition station, showed up. And so we're packing up all of our gear, me and the photographer, and I just told him, I said, look, let's just hang out for a minute, you know, just take your time packing up your stuff, because I want to see their report. I want to watch them do their live shot. So I watched them do their live shot, and the guy does the same thing. He talks to them on camera, he starts to cry and everything, and then he turns it off. And I thought, oh, okay, this is kind of what I was afraid was going to happen. So we get back to the station, and I do my story and everything. And so I called the sheriff of that particular city, county, whatever. And I said, this might not mean anything. I said, but the guy that we interviewed, the husband of the woman, he kind of turned it off, turned it on and turned it off in terms of the crying and stuff. And I just thought, you know, I'd let you guys know, because I didn't know whether you guys are looking at him as a suspect or whatever. Well, the sheriff says to me, he says, well, he said, we are considering him along with other people. And I'm thinking, okay. So I just kind of leave it alone. What, 3 weeks later, he's convicted of killing her. I'm thinking to myself, oh my goodness. I was like this close, well, not that close, but okay. Let's say, here's my microphone. I'm like this close to the guy who killed this woman. So long story short, that's probably the worst story I ever did. The best story I ever did, I think probably the most fun story that I ever did was, I think it was a football story, actually. We were sent to another town to cover the championship football game. It was an NFL game. And the town that we went to, it was Cleveland. Cleveland had the Browns at the time. As you know, the Cleveland Browns aren't Cleveland Browns anymore. But anyway, we get there, and like the town is like deserted. I mean, like everybody is watching this football game evidently. So we went over to the stadium first, and we started getting what we call sound bites, just asking people randomly how they're feeling about the game, letting them do their yay and all that kind of stuff in the camera, stuff like that. You know, they love to do that kind of stuff. So then we did a little bit of that, and then when we left the stadium, it was like the place looked deserted. I mean, the city just looked deserted. And so I thought, you know what, that's my story, that the city is deserted. And so I'm going to these different places and finding people watching the game in the bars, and you know, this, that, and the other, and stores are closed because they're watching the game and stuff like that. It was just very interesting. So that was my story. And then we ended up at this hotel where these there was a fire or whatever. Fire started in this hotel. We're like, oh my goodness, this is a story. There's a fire. But I mean, it turned out to be a really little fire. I mean, it wasn't a big fire, really little fire. And so instead of me focusing on the story as the fire as a story, I thought, you know, the guys that were coming out of the hotel, they were walking right across the street to the bar to watch the game. So a couple of them said, you know what, when we saw the smoke, we just kind of put wet towels by the door because they still wanted to watch the game. So after, you know, I guess it all died down and they put the fire out or whatever, they just walked across the street to watch the football game. So I thought, you know, that's the story. You know, nobody cares about anything else in Cleveland but this game. So that was my story. That was probably the most fun story that I ever did. Okay, so moving on. Question number 3. Why did you start your channel? I started my channel because I had lost my job several years ago, and I was very, very stressed out. And during that stressful period, my hair started falling out. I mean, literally, I was having like little patches of hair falling out, and I was like, oh my goodness, what am I gonna do? And I had a wig that I had bought years ago. I had a wig, but I mean, it wasn't a wig that I was gonna like wear every day. It wasn't a really nice wig. It was just some kind of a wig that I had picked up for some reason or other. So when I saw it, I thought, you know what, there's got to be something better out there. And so I started looking at YouTube and watching the reviews, and I ran across Brittany Meadows. As you guys know, I adore Brittany. And I started watching her channel, and the more I watched her and others, like Wigs to Waist Length, I think was one of my first, and Her Style and Trendy K and all of those people, I was watching them and I was thinking to myself, you know what, these are young women, and that's wonderful. But where are the older ladies? You know, where are the mature women? You know, because I see women, you know, older women wearing wigs all the time. You know, at my place of worship, you know, people go to church and they wear wigs. You know, so I'm like, I need to start my own version of this as an older woman. So that's how I started my channel. Okay, question number 4. You mentioned a surgery a while back. What happened? Oh, yeah, I had hip replacement. You know, and I don't really know. I mean, I wasn't that old. I mean, I was just about a year or two ago, so I guess I was still 60. But yeah, it was hip replacement, and the doctors really didn't know why I needed it, but I guess the cartilage, they said, was disappearing, and I was having a really hard time walking, and it was really painful to just lay down. Just laying down was painful. If I tried to move in the bed, it was really painful. So when I finally went to the doctor, they said, yep, you need to have your hip replaced. And so that's what happened. I had my hip replaced. So I've got some metal and stuff in my leg, and when I go to the airport, I just have to tell everybody. Or if I go into a courthouse or whatever, I got to let them know I've got something in my leg. Okay. Okay. Question number 5. Are you really 58? No. No, 58 is the year I was born. So still looking good. 58 is my birth year. I'm actually 62. Okay, and I think most of you guys who were participated in my very first contest, that was the contest to guess my age, yeah. Okay, question number 6. Why do you roll up your eyes? We can see the whites. I don't know why I do that, but I do it. I don't know. See, I probably just did it. I really have to go. I have to work on that. Yeah, I do. I have to work on that. Yeah. So I'm either you got to close your eyes or open them, right? So yeah, I don't know why I do that, but I do that. Sorry about that. Okay, question number 7. Why did you change your background? I liked the teddy bears and the lava lamp. Oh yeah. It's actually over here. I just don't. Yeah, if I'm like facing this way with the camera, it depends on how I feel in terms of because I get this big table I'm sitting at. And if I don't want to sit at the table, I'll turn that way and I'll have that, because it's right over there, the teddy bears and stuff. They haven't gone anywhere, they're just there. And sometimes I use it. I haven't used it in a while, but yeah, sometimes I use it. Sometimes I just want a plain white background, because with wigs, sometimes you don't want any distractions. You know, you want people to look at the wig and not everything else that's in your room. Okay, number 8. Why do your wigs not look perfect like most reviewers? Why do my wigs not look perfect like most reviewers? You know, that's a good question. Because wigs aren't perfect. I try to be real on my channel, and sometimes I make my wigs look really nice and perfect, but most of the time they look like they look. And it's like, you know, during the course of the day, your wig is going to look just like mine. So that's probably it. During the course of the day, your wig is going to look like I'm showing you the wig looks like. Okay, so there you go. If I made it look perfect all the time, then you would think that your wig is going to look perfect like that when you buy it, and that's not the case. So if you love perfection, go to Dominique A's page. Her wigs are always perfect. Now, whether you buy her wigs or the wigs that she promotes and they're perfect after you get them, that's another question. But her wigs are always perfect. So you want to see perfect wigs, Dominique A is the person to go see. Okay, number 9. How long have you been married? Oh, that's a good question. It will be 13 years. Did I do my eyes again? It'll be 13 years in August. Love my husband. He's wonderful. He's just a sweet pea, and yeah, he puts up with me. So yeah, we've been married 13 years. He always says it's 22. Matter of fact, the first year we got married, he said it was 22. Somebody asked us, how long you been married? He said 22 years. I don't know whether that's good or bad, but yeah, that's what he said. Okay, last question. Last question. Are you going to end your channel when you start to wrinkle up? Am I going to end my channel when I start to wrinkle up? You know, I don't know. Maybe. Probably. You know, it depends. If everybody that's watching me is wrinkled up, I might as well keep doing it. But I don't know. I hadn't even thought about that. I mean, I am wrinkling some. I mean, look in the mirror. I am wrinkling some. But yeah, I don't know. I guess I will. I mean, I'm not going to do this forever, of course. But yeah, come and see me when I'm wrinkled up and we'll talk about it. Okay, anyway, that's it. Those are the 10 questions. We'll have to do this again when we get 10 more, but yeah, I just wanted to come and share those answers with you guys. Thank you so much for watching. This was just very interesting and enlightening, for me especially. Yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscription button and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. If you have not subscribed and you're one of that 55% that watch me and don't subscribe, please hit that subscription button now, because that allows me to bring you more videos, get an opportunity to maybe get different hair from different companies so that I can show you more things that you really want to see. Even products. I mean, I'm trying to get into doing some more product reviews. You guys are going to see some product reviews here shortly. And in order for me to get products, I got to have people. So if you subscribe, then they'll see that I'm getting more people. They'll bring me the products, and I may even be able to give away some of those things. So yeah, it's always going to be a benefit to you to hit that subscription button. So thank you so much again for watching, and as you guys know, what I always say is, if you're going to show love to anyone today, please show it to the creator. I'm still looking good, and of course, so are you. See you next time.